Hello, everybody. Jedediah here. Today, we're doing a special podcast with one of our ambassadors from Phoenix, Arizona, Alec Gertine. Hey, Alec, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to talk about my new favorite game.
Awesome, awesome. Well, today we're just going to go over some of the things Alec likes about the game and just talk to him about the game as we get ready for launch on July 1st. We're just trying to reach out to all the different people that are interested in our game and kind of see the way people play our game, the ways they like the game, and just get more content out there to build up the hype for launch July 1st. Mark your calendar. So, anyways, Alec, let's just start off hot take. What do you think about the game? First, I guess, how long have you been playing the game, and what is your initial view of the game? If someone's going to ask you, how would you explain Barnburners and Noblemen, or do you like Barnburners and Noblemen? What would you say?
Yeah, okay. So first off, I've been playing the game for 2.5 to 3 months now. I want to say that could be right. And I mean, it feels just like yesterday that I finally got to sit down. I had heard about the game prior to sitting down, hearing about it. I might need some water. Right. So I had heard about this game prior to playing it, and I was pretty pumped. But in sitting down and learning it, it was a lot of um, information at once. I think it at first I thought, dang, this is gonna take like a long time to really understand this game. And I think what was true about that is that there is an infinite number of ways to play the game, and every single game will be unique. But what was not true about that is that actually after the first game, maybe after the second game, really, I felt like I had a understanding that I could explain it to anybody, that I could play it anywhere and explain it to any one of my friends, and get them on board as well. So it was, and then my first take actually like playing the game, like how fun it was, even after the first game was, I remember telling my wife that night and then the next day, like, I can't stop thinking about it. Like, I can't wait to play the game again. Like, genuinely, the curiosity that it invokes of what you could have done differently, and especially how many characters they are and how you could have played better against the characters that you played against, creates memories and then creates fantasies afterwards of how should I have gone about things, how can I go about things next time, who am I going to choose next time, or it was just a really fun experience in the days that followed, with excitement until the next time I played the game.
Yeah, I think something you said there's something we've heard from a lot of people, and we've personally, like me and my brother, as we played with people over the years, we've noticed that it seems like after the second game, people really start understanding the war game style of our game, and they really start accelerating and really enjoy it. And the second thing you mentioned there is so true. There's been so many like nights I'll be laying in bed and I'll be like, wait a second. What if I put Rupert against Hildegard, who has a life of one, and Rupert has auto damage? And what if Rupert was on the attack buff in the middle of the map on the rock? Oh my gosh. And you think of all these thousands and thousands of strategies that you don't necessarily think about, and you combine them in your head and just get you excited because one thing this game is so strong in is replayability, is what we've noticed, which is just so we love that about it. But something that I wanted to specifically hit on is as you're playing with people as an ambassador, like, are you a big gamer yourself? Because I feel like I like you're not like in my mind. We've known each other for a long time, but you're not necessarily like, oh, I love games. Like like some games, but you're not necessarily like a big time board gamer. And are the people you're playing with big time board gamers the people that really like this game? Have you noticed like a any trend? Like what kind of people like it?
Yeah, yeah. I think that I first off, to echo what you said, I'm not a gamer in the sense of, if you come to my house, you would not find copious amounts of games. Um, you would find, your Catans, your Texas Hold'em, poker, and a couple card games. we love games. Like, I mean, you invite us over for a game night, like we're down, but we're not like a game buff. But what this game, I think, what this game brought into to our lives was the replayability of being confident that um, Catan has like paved the way into so many households that like people understand how it works. But at least in my life, like I'm not really excited to go play a game that I feel like I've explored all the alternative gameplays, how you can do it. Um, Not to bash it at all, like great game. Um, but what this invokes in me is I can show it to someone, they're gonna understand the principles from a game like Risk, Catan, Dungeons and Dragons, like you've so accurately mentioned. Um, but then they're going to want to play again and again, and I'm not going to be opposed to it. Like, I hate playing a game when someone wants to play, and I'm just like, I've gone down this road before. It's there's really nothing left for me. This one, every game's going to be different. Everyone I'm playing against is going to be different each time, and that's what like gets me amped up to play it night after night.
That's awesome. That's cool. One thing we like to say, you mentioned Catan, is me and my brother, like we started making this game early on. The backstory that's on YouTube and stuff, but we've gotten influences from games like Catan, like Heroescape, like Star Wars Duels, Age of Empires. And so we feel like this game is a conglomeration of our childhood in a lot of ways. But I'm curious for you, is there any like, what does this game feel like to you? If you could combine it, like say, okay, if we put these ingredients into a bowl, Barnburners and Noblemen comes out, what would you say is some of the things you feel when playing the game?
Yeah, I would say I don't have the game acumen that guys like you do. So for me, it is um, I've played Dungeons and Dragons like a couple times with friends, just seeing how it works. I've played Risk with friends sometimes, and I've played Catan. Those three games are the ones that speak to me first, primarily because most people have heard of those three things. Um, the war game concept of like total domination, like you've won it all, everyone else is defeated, like that comes from Risk. Um, the movement of the board is similar to Dungeons and Dragons, where you get to decide where you go on the map, and you could like win from kind of anywhere on the board. You don't have to go to a certain place to win, although the center obviously has those bonuses, but you don't have to. It could be a totally different strategy. So that feels like Dungeons and Dragons, and then Catan. The first thing, the hexagon squares, yeah, a little bit, but its map really, uh, other than maybe the nature or the pictures, maybe it invokes some Catan there, but I think the main component from Catan is a very small one, which is the diplomacy cards as opposed to development cards, which, I mean, once you actually go through the diplomacy cards, like it really is. I don't want to say it's nothing like it, because there are similarities of like, wow, this is a really, really powerful one and really good. This is what I wanted versus, oh, this actually doesn't even apply to my characters right now. So there is that like a bit of luck involved in that diplomacy cards. But other than that, it's totally different and unique and well thought out in terms of how those diplomacy cards work with the characters.
Yeah, and in regards to that, actually, Catan diplomacy cards for sure, even though they're slightly different than they are in Catan. But another, actually, a bigger influence of Catan than even the diplomacy cards that maybe people don't pick up right away is the importance of diplomacy when you're playing with more than just 1v1. It comes in
Yeah.
drastically needed. And it's so interesting because just like Catan, so often I feel like in Catan, whoever takes the lead and has like 8, 9 victory points and maybe a couple development cards unflipped, everyone's like, they're about to win. They
Right.
get one more point, they're going to win. Do a trade embargo. And it, unfortunately, in Catan, so often player number one that comes out in the lead loses because everyone goes against him, and then second place sneaks in as the wolf in sheep's clothing. And so our game totally takes the importance of diplomacy. Like you need to have tabletop discussion, and you need to be working the board. You got to be showing your enemies you're not that powerful, but you need to be having some strategies and plans to actually be powerful. You never want to come out on top, because then you'll be a magnet for all the other players. And that is an element that totally like we wanted, and it slowly but surely became such a powerful element whenever you're not playing one versus one, which is a totally different style game, but actually really fun as well. But I did want to get into specific some gameplay stories. I've personally experienced. We've heard from a lot of ambassadors that like there's some games that go down to the wire, and I've personally experienced games that maybe I'll have like 7, 8 character cards at the beginning that I'm putting through the lines, and the game literally goes down to one character versus one character, and one character has one health. So it's literally like one roll away from winning, and it could go either way. And it's so interesting. But I'm curious, have you ever had anything like that happen, or what's like one of the most exciting stories you've personally had while playing Barnburners and Noblemen?
Oh man, putting me on the spot there. Like, there are some incredibly legendary games, and I wish, I wish like on chess.com you can like replay your entire match. It's like I wish I could see and rewind how it looked for characters, and like I feel like my memory is kind of toast, but I do remember um let's see, one of them recently in which if you have Hugo, and Hugo gets the luckiest he's ever gotten at the beginning of the game. Like, it's amazing, but at the same time, you've literally just put a mark on your back. Like, it's everyone pauses and everybody is against you. And so I think it was Hildegard. Did I say that right? Um, Hildegard that I had won over. And so she's very powerful, and she's like attached to Hugo and oh man, oh, and oh no, I'm forgetting his name. A wheelchair man.
Aincroft.
Yeah, I think it was attached to him as well. Um, but it was just like 3v1, and it was just like a pretty even battle the whole game. Um, and all the while, like, if you're coming close to Hugo, then he's gonna be attacking you. Like, so people are like frustrated, but at the same time, you're like, you decided your own fate. Like, you came after me. He was not trying to go after you. You came after
Mm,
me, and so of course I'm gonna roll. And you're gonna have to
yeah.
deal with the consequences. So it's like, um, it's really fun to see
Yeah.
people try and rewind the game in their head and be like, I should have done things differently, or why didn't I go after Hugo with this character who has a 7
Hmm.
range, or what was I thinking? But I never thought that could happen. So
Yeah.
I know that one came down to the wire, but so many
Yeah.
games, honestly, so many games have come down to the wire, and I remember like going to bed and asking the next morning to the roommates like who ended up winning, and just being shocked like, no way, how did you come back? Like, because I was an early exit that game, unfortunately. So
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, Hugo specifically is one of those characters that we made as a skill level 2, because he's too good potential to not be a 2, but if you don't get that 8 for Silver Tongue, he's not very effective. But if you do, it is crazy. And actually interesting, I'm pretty sure Hugo is the only way to have 3 cards on the table at once. Like, I'm pretty sure even conversion, you take someone and then they go into your backups. I should know this, but I can't remember. But it's an interesting element that you can actually have 3 characters out at once, which, because of the balance of our character cards and our way our game works, if you have 3 character cards out at once and they all get a move and attack, it can be deadly. Like, you can dish 3 attacks on one team or one character before they can get around to attacking. And it's just the way it's balanced, really powerful. But yeah, there's been some. I remember playing one game. It was a pretty short game. I had 4 character cards versus 4 character cards. So bizarre, 1v1, and literally
that's great.
no one died the whole game. My opponent took every single one of my 4 characters. It was like 1 in a million, and it happened. I was like, "What is this game?" So Yeah, it is. It's crazy how some of those work. And going back to diplomacy, it's interesting because although that's very powerful, you have to be careful on how you use it because if it's right at the beginning of the game, people have a big backup, like a big line of backups to come
Right.
back in. You're going to be a heavy target, and the odds of you kind of getting more crushed than you would have if you never did it are pretty high. So it's one of those interesting things. Talking about characters though, what's your favorite character and why?
Oh, it's so hard. I think, um, let's see. Yeah, it's so hard to pick one specifically. I think a lot of the merchants, honestly, like, I think merchants are some of my favorite. Like, I always got to have some merchants. And it's hard to choose one. I can make arguments for a few. Like, Godwin, I think like from the first game I played actually with you, like Godwin for some reason just would not be killed and he would heal my characters around me. So like I have a special affinity for him. And then I think it's Admiral Joy. Um um
Yeah,
just
guns for
because
hire.
yeah, I love being able to save up coin with her. Um and then it increasingly becomes very difficult for anyone to want to approach you. She's one of those characters that does really well retreating to a corner and just building wealth. And at first, people are like, "Yeah, you're gonna buy your diplomacy cards," and then they just watch those coins stack up, and they all of a sudden realize the back of your card special is like, "Wow, for every one coin you spend, your attack increases and now you have 5 coins." So if I come over there, I easily could be faced with that'd be a 13 like attack. So goodbye to any character like if I have give them any chance to attack me. And so it's like who wants to break first? Like all these people are now starting to unite with each other of like we have to kill Admiral Joy, but who's going to do it first? And they're kind of promising each other like I'll trust me, if you go in there, I'll be right behind you, I promise. Like, but they know if they go in there, like, they're gonna be torched. Like, but I mean, that is the thing. You can only get one of them, right? Right. So, but she, as a skill level 2, I find her value to be like pretty great. Um, go
Yeah.
on about lots of them. If,
Well, merchants are such a cool faction. And actually, we're launching next week, but what's going to come with the master set is just Barnburners and Noblemen. Most people probably know that, but we are launching the Alchemist and the Merchant expansion box sets right along with it. The reason for that was we just wanted to keep the master set under $100. But like you said,
right,
the Merchants and Alchemists were built to be played with the Barnburners and Noblemen. Although the game's still very fun with just the Barnburners and Noblemen, it is so much more fun when you add those alchemists, when you add those merchants. Like he said, Godwin's healing coin, or for Admiral's gun for hire to basically pay a coin and get extra 2 to a basic attack. There's things merchants can do that no one else can do. Or Jangles, he
right,
can actually interact with the map and place the hexagon coin on the map and it interacts with it and creates little buffs or negative buffs for your enemies. And it's just one of those things that we really want to incentivize people to get the alchemists and the merchants expansions when they get the master set because it is so much more enhanced and it just more variables and just so much more play styles that we think is so fun. And so we're actually for the Kickstarter going to make just the master set alchemist merchant bundle the biggest discount. We're really going to try to get people to get that because it's really going to I think give the best first experience. So obviously we'll have the master set, we'll have the expansions as add-ons, but we really want people to get those.
I have a question for
Well,
you. So,
yeah, of course.
say from the Barnburners and Noblemen set, what skill level 1 and skill level 2 pair best? If you are like you're just looking for those two, what do you think
Hmm.
pairs best? The skill level 1 and 2 together.
Well, interesting enough, there might be, but most the cards that pair well with group cards, which are generally skill level 1s,
Uh,
are actually 3s. So you're not necessarily going to probably find 2 combos that actually have specials that benefit each other. But the first thing that comes to mind in regards to a skill level 1, and this is kind of an interesting take, but I've played this game a ton. It's one of actually, if you're doing a fantasy draft where basically you're playing with other people and you guys are choosing every card in the deck, it's extremely competitive. Everyone knows everyone's specials. You're strategizing. one of the best cards to draft is actually a skill level 1, we've realized, and that is the Cannoneers. It's the single card
Yes.
that has 4, but the reason why the Cannoneers are so powerful is because they have that all for one special, so they can combine their attacks, so they can get up to that like 6 or 5 if there's only 3 of them. But they also have Survivalists, which you wouldn't think work. It's only a 33% chance on the 6-sided dice. And we actually spent so much time painstakingly deciding, should we make it a 5 or 6 on the gold 6-sided dice, or should we make it a 6, 7, or 8 on the green dice? But literally the margin of percentage was between like 33% and 42%. And it was like, oh, it's too much percentage if we take the green dice. So that's why they're one of the only cards that have a special result that's based on the gold 6-sided dice. Most people use the green one. Anyways, because of survivalist, because they're so weak, but yet they still have a decent attack, people usually don't take them seriously. They're like, I'll get around to it. There's 4 of them. I don't want
Right.
to have to go into that mess, but they last. And in this game, when you're playing extremely competitively, that's one of the number one things you want to do. You want to survive.
Right.
And so Cannoneers are one of my favorite. They're
Yes.
really, really powerful in big competitive games. Skill level 2, I got to say, I think my favorite skill level 2 is either Sir Montague
Right.
or Sir Helena Kaiser. They're just
Same.
so rock
Yes.
solid.
Yes.
Sir Montague
Absolutely agree.
has that horseman's rights where at the beginning of each round, anyone adjacent, before he even moves, has to defend against an attack. And I've played games before where you're around group cards, you get adjacent to them, they don't want to leave engagement, and they literally die before you even start your movement phase. So you can move away, not leave an engagement, and go actually attack someone. And it's just like that auto 2 attack to everyone adjacent just keeps people away. So he's great. And then obviously Sir Helena Kaiser, she's just classic.
Yes.
She has those 2 specials, but it's the
Blade of Kaiser.
Blade of Kaiser, yeah, where you
So
get the
good.
double. It's just so powerful when she hits. Like when she gets like 1, and you're like, oh crap, oh I can re-roll the ones that didn't hit. Like she's almost always dishing out at least 2 attacks, oftentimes 3, and having that consistency is crazy because even people like Funked or Grandor, there'll be tons of times you'll roll 6 and you only get 1. So Blade of
Right.
Kaiser is crazy. And side note, if you get on the attack buff with Blade of Kaiser, it's even better. It's like
Right.
unreal. It's like so powerful because she gets to reroll every defense that hits when she's rolling for
Oh,
basic
it's
attack.
crazy.
But the buff increases her basic attack by 1. So she gets an attack of 5 and gets to reroll all the blue defense. So she becomes so powerful. So she's
Yes.
probably one of my favorite skill level 2s. But
Yeah. I would say, yeah, both of those play like a 1 above. Like
yeah.
you could almost see her as a skill level 3. A lot of times when she's
Mhm.
out there, people are like, let me look at that card. Like, what? She's a skill level 2? Like, and you feel like
Yeah.
you got a deal on her, like, got a value, like, and then same with the Cannoneers, like you're saying, like, if you have lots of cards and you're playing to like, maybe 12 skill points or something like that, the Cannoneers will just
Yeah.
last and people
Yeah.
won't notice it and they'll be burning through cards. And like, you still have a Cannoneer out there? Like, how long has it been? They were there at the beginning or whatever it was.
It's
I love
weird
that.
how often that happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, my last question, then you can share anything that you feel, but I'm just curious, what's like, if you could just name a single thing about this game that's your favorite part, whether it's a mechanic or just an experience that comes when you're playing this game with friends, what would you say is your favorite part about Barnburners and Noblemen?
Oof. There's just so much, like from the story to the artwork to the pieces of gold, like yeah, I think it'd be summed up like the pieces of gold. Like it sounds dumb, but like when you hold these like pieces of gold, it is it really encompasses everything that the game gives you. Like it's there's a story. There's a narrative of and storyline behind these characters. Like um they're not just like pictures, but if they were just pictures, the pictures themselves are beautiful. The character like pieces are beautiful, like and have detail on both sides from front and back. Like so the pieces of gold represent to me just the quality that the game itself is being made with, and the thought that's being put into every aspect of the game. The simplest thing, the currency, isn't overlooked. It is like thought with great detail and great care and great artistic talent, that is being just from all aspects of the game. Like, just, I mean, we're looking at the rule book right here. I have it on the ground right in front of me. It's just like nothing was overlooked. Everything is thought about clearly, and that's what makes it, I mean, so special. Everything is unique. And just like every art piece being unique, every map, every storyline, every game will be unique too. I've never played a game that was the same game. I've never played a game that like even felt like the same game. Like, it all has its own storyline, its own specialties, its own like battle, or like how aggressive people are, how they're building up their storehouses, with gold. Like, everything is so different and unique every time we play it, and that's encompassed to me by like those pieces of gold that like I feel. I'm like, oh, these are actual gold. These are nice. These are.
Yeah, that's actually something that we do care about a lot. Like, we've gotten so much feedback in the past of like, make them cardboard. Most people would make them cardboard and make cardboard cutouts rather than acrylic standees. It harks back to kind of like, we grew up on games that came with such cool pieces that almost felt like they could be toys. I know it's kind of weird to say, but it was almost like there was a tactile enjoyment playing certain games as kids that went well far beyond the actual mechanics of the game. And we're like, we want to bring that back in an age of cutting corners and just being as mechanic focused as possible. We really want to create a game that gives joy just by like experiencing the premium quality components. And the game's a little more expensive because of that, and we're making a lot less money than we could if everything was cardboard. But we just want to create an experience that goes beyond just a fun mechanic here and there. We really want to bring people into our world. That's why we've created backstories and lore and so much in the Barnburners and Noblemen world. And giving premium components is just the gate that brings people in. And that gate needs to be premium, otherwise people won't enter. So thank you for noticing that. That's been a lot of hard work, and we've appreciated that. But is there anything else you want to say? My questions are pretty much done, but anything else you want to say or ask me about or anything?
Oh man, just, man, when are you getting out here so we can play again? I just um or when, another expansion pack. Like, there's so much that is like, I don't know, left for the future, I think, with this. And like, I'm all aboard with like whatever it is, because everything's been done with such great care, and so it's uh yeah, I don't know. I would just say, um to people who've never played before, like, it it really feels like it's all for all people. Um like, it is a little more complicated than Catan. It is, a little more complicated than your, classic, card game you might be playing. Like, if you're like me, like, I just play cards with my wife and have a blast. Like, it is a little more complicated, but what you get with that is, I mean, after two times playing, I'm like, this is a game that I'm going to have in my house for the rest of my life. Like, this is a game I'm going to be teaching my kids. This is a game that we're going to pull out and teach my kids' friends. Like, this is a game that I like would take on a trip, like on vacation somewhere. Like, I've never had that before, other than like just a deck of cards. Like, you throw a deck of cards in the backpack, but is so fun and so interactive and so unique every time, that it's like really, really a valuable staple to have in one's household, that I just have grown to really appreciate. So, yeah.
Awesome. Wow. Well, you are lavishing us with praise. So thank you, Alec. I appreciate that. And thanks for playing and thanks for spreading the word. Let everyone know July 1st. It's going to be awesome. And there's a huge roadmap for this game. And so we're just getting started. There's already things in the pipeline that'll be coming out even this week. We have a cool expansion that we're going to be announcing. It's a small map expansion, but it adds so much to the game. So thank you
Whoa.
so much for your time, Alec. And yeah, we'll be in contact.
Let's go. Thank you.
See ya.